So after George Floyd was killed, my organization, just like organizations all across the country, had DEI trainings and seminars and racial justice meetings. And it was okay at first, but then they started getting excessive. And it came to a point where I felt the trainings were all relying on stereotypes, discrimination, scapegoating. And we were split into affinity groups. I found the idea of being split up on the basis of race to be very regressive, and it wasn't something that I wanted to take part in. So I stopped going to the meetings, and we were still being bombarded with material every day about white supremacy. White people keep quiet. White people, your silence is violence. Everything is white supremacy. It's a smog we all ingest. And it got to the point where I felt it was really excessive and frankly illegal. And it all came to a head for me when we were asked to sign a contract that would govern our behavior in the legal center. And one of the items was, own that all white people are racist and I am not the exception. And there was no way I was going to sign a statement saying that I was racist, or that all white people were racist, or that all of any race was anything. So I refused to sign it, and then I had to go to a meeting with the DEI consultant at the time, which was supposed to be a short meeting, but it ended up being a 90-minute long session on thought reform. And the reason they gave me for having to go to the meeting was to ascertain whether I was safe to be around my Black and brown coworkers and my Black and brown clients.
So there's so many vantage points
Yes.
I want to explore here from what you just told me. Before we go there, I guess I want to find out a little bit more about you. As I understand it, there are only 10 lawyers in the largest domestic abuse association in America, and you're one of them. And
It's about 10, yes.
About 10. And so, how is it that you got into this? And maybe tell me a little bit more about, where you come from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in private practice, and I also have a license in therapy. So I wanted to combine the two, and I started representing domestic violence clients for free when I was in private practice, and I really loved it. And we also had a lot of potential clients come in that had domestic violence issues and did not have the money to hire a lawyer. And I always found it so heartbreaking when we had to say, sorry, we can't help you. And they had sat there pouring out their story to us for like an hour, re-traumatizing themselves. And in the end, we couldn't help them because it could end up being a very large expenditure. And so when I got the opportunity to work for a nonprofit where that wasn't an issue and I wasn't going to have to tell a potential client no because of money, I was really thrilled.
So, and you described to me a situation where, you were just having sort of general discussions with, I think, with maybe it was in the legal center in your organization, and that people were kind of stunned by you saying that you didn't think there was racism.
Yeah, it's like, what are we talking about? We're not racist. Everyone here is committed to racial justice. We represent Black and brown clients, and we do a good job of it, and we're very thorough. So I couldn't see where the racism was coming from. I think the issue is the new definition of racism, prejudice plus power. But, I was stunned. And then everyone was looking at me like I had two heads when I said, I don't think we're racist.
So there was this kind of a priori assumption that racism has to be there. This is a component of critical social justice,
Yes.
as you described. So do you felt like this is how things were working even before these DEI consultants were invited?
No, I didn't see it before the DEI consultants came in.
I see. Mm-hmm. Well, so tell me about that. So what was this consultation about?
We had a lot of different, I'd say, educational materials on white supremacy from Tema Okun, Ibram Kendi, Robin DiAngelo. we were presented with a lot of those materials and kind of like prodded to discuss it in a workplace setting. And some of them were more like confessionals, which I found very odd for a workplace setting. But, you know, I talked to people at other institutions and found out that it was going on there too. And it sounds like it was really going on all across the country. You're not allowed to dissent from any part of this ideology. And if you do, you're branded as racist or bigoted or problematic. And I think that people need to just kind of get used to the idea that people might call them racist or bigoted or problematic and not worry about it, because it's that, or you're going to be forever beholden to these ideas. And if you do that, you'll lose your integrity.
Was there some specific moment that really affected you and you realized that this was something that you couldn't be a part of?
Well, I definitely didn't want to be a part of racial segregation. That was abhorrent to me. There were other things too, like Tema Okun's presentation on white supremacy. It says that a worship of the written word is white supremacy. So my response to that is, we are attorneys and words are our trade. So while we don't worship the written word, it is very important, as is, you know, punctuality, thoroughness, things like that were kind of characterized as white supremacy. And frankly, I found that to be very disempowering for Black people. If you're saying that, you know, if you write well, or you're very concerned about the way you write, or you're concerned about being punctual, or you're concerned about being thorough, that's white supremacy and it's not a characteristic of Black people, that's flat out racist. And it's, you know, it definitely didn't describe my Black colleagues.